Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast that should have been canceled years ago, Super Caspers, where we're talking about a lot of theoretical nonsense for what the future of the series could contain. I'm Zantok, otherwise known as Lister, and then we have Jonno here wearing a Garfield shirt that's very poorly drawn. And then we have a guest on. It's the return of SujixFuji, otherwise just known as Suji, and not Mount Fuji or the Apple Fuji. There's various variations,
True.
but we're just gonna go with Suji and not Sujix.
The Fuji part did spawn from apples though, so that's fair. I'll allow it.
I remember things. You're also not from Fiji.
As long as it's not
True.
a red delicious, huh?
Oh God. No.
No, I'm not
why
soggy
do-
and tasteless. Sorry.
Remember
Red deli. Yo, I'm not
soggy and tasteless. Sorry.
we knew a person who would swear that their favorite apple is Red Delicious, and we're
Listen,
just
if
like,
you're boring, just
do you
say
like
that.
do you like tasteless things? Because
Like,
there's better apples out there. They
But
also
honestly,
not to trash on
Well, they like
people who
tasteless
are here.
things all right, didn't they?
Considering they dated you, yeah,
oof. Whoa.
he knew it was coming. He set himself up. He knew what I would do.
You guys,
I was gonna talk about the sugar
Let's do
cookies, but we'll
Garfield.
go from that one too.
I'm taking over the show today for Jonno because of emotional scarring.
You already spoke as Jonah.
really
You've already
hope
ruined
that-
your bit.
That him and Odie are okay.
I don't. That dog did not look like a dog. What the fuck was that design? Jesus Christ! And then when they did the
Oh,
live action movie, they had CGI Garfield, but regular dog for Odie. It's like, what are you doing? What the fuck?
Oh God.
This is
Because
weird.
Odie is stupid.
First of all, why did you make live action Garfield?
Yeah.
Second of all, Jesus Christ. Also, they're owned by Nickelodeon now.
Ooh.
Well, Garfield is now a playable character in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. There you go.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of odd, but it's a thing. So hey,
Full of pie and not a lasagna.
what is your favorite lasagna topping, Garfield?
I like to eat all of the lasagna that John makes me.
And
They really had to think about that for a while there.
yeah, that's you know what I think you need to be put to bed
It's a little
permanently.
Maybe the cheese.
Get to bed now, cat. Get to bed.
I'll make it there eventually. This is why I hate Mondays.
Well, it's a good thing this isn't a Monday, neither on the day of recording or the day of upload, probably, unless we're late again.
Well, they said to call 911 in case I had an emergency.
This isn't 911,
But I'm
sir.
not out of lasagna.
You need to go drunk your home. Anyhow,
I'll see you guys later.
please don't.
I'm going to
Please
take a cat nap.
Oh my
Please
God.
do. Maybe you'll die in your sleep.
As if I haven't been waiting for that since 1978 when the first Garfield comic strip came out under the name John. Did you know that Garfield was originally
We
sold
were
as a
almost free.
John-based
We were
comic book?
almost free. Also, what the fuck was the author thinking? They thought it was gonna be going on this guy. Now, of course, we saw what happened when we got internet on our phones. People just started looking at cat videos all day. What? Of course, it was gonna be about the cat. To be fair, he didn't know about cat videos yet. But Jesus Christ, clearly he wasn't a time traveler. Unlike the writers for The Simpsons.
Honestly.
Fucking-
Yeah. I appeared on The Simpsons a few times.
I'm sorry.
Well,
For both
see
you
ya.
and them. Oh, thank
I wanna
God
have,
you're
like,
here.
this
That's
weird
slightly
episode
better
of
than what we just dealt with.
Or
Only slightly.
you know, like
Oh, sorry.
Voldemort on the back of Coral's head. I kind
No.
of want to do that with Garfield. Like
I will
Oh,
quit
God.
this show, and you can find a new co-host. You can get baby Eric on the show. By the way,
Oh, it's a good
I
thing.
was talking with
Yeah.
Jake the other day about
Mhm.
Smash stuff, and he mentioned your weird me fighter, and I said like, oh, you mean Baby Eric? He's like, that's what that is. Like, yes, he did not know that was supposed to be Baby Eric. Hi Eric, what's up? I know you don't watch, even though you told me once you did. You make me cry sometimes. Anyways, let's get to the thing we're actually talking about here today. Well, technically, first we got to do it's a Smash Dash episode. Woo! We're gonna be picking some characters and putting them against each other. But before we can do that, it's Rate Their Chances, the game that we've been doing this season. To sometimes it takes some time, sometimes it doesn't take a lot of time. Last episode we did one of these on, it took half the episode. And I was very surprised by this. I don't expect that to happen again here today, but we'll see. So, obviously, we have a guest on here today. Suji is here with us, and we picked 5 characters. And I say we, but it was really Jonno that picked characters, because we kind of alternate each Smash or Dash episode who picks what character for the Rate Their Chances. So, Jonno picked 5 characters to discuss today, and to help out, I gave some advice on some series and characters that Suji would be able to speak about, but Suji doesn't know who
I
we're
have no
speaking
idea.
about.
Which scares me.
I'll give you one hint.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing from Yoshi's Story.
Damn.
It's not the best Yoshi game.
In
Listen,
certain
I will die on
circles
this
and
hill.
cultures, they do believe
And you will die. And then I will roll your lifeless corpse down into the river.
Into Yoshi's Story, please.
No, it's actually got piranhas. Sorry.
Actually,
With
I
water.
think there was.
Anywho. So, Rate Their Chances for a refresh on how this works. We're going to bring up a character here on the screen, and we will go through talking about this character just relatively briefly, one at a time, one by one, and then we will circle back around to everybody to get final thoughts and also what our rating is for that character. And then we will combine the rating together, divide it out, and we will see what the average rating that we have all collectively decided this character's chances are to be added as a playable character in Smash Brothers. It's meant to be kind of ambiguous. It's not strictly saying like it's mostly be like if they were added into like the next game, which sometimes makes the conversation a little bit difficult when you have a game when you have some games that have like, hey, if we were to pick another character from ARMS, there's like 20. So that means each character kind of has wonky chances because it's really just a grab bag. But sometimes that's how that goes. And we might see that tonight a couple times. We'll see. But our first character in the SujixFuji edition of our Rate Their Chances Spectacular is a character from a game that we were actually just discussing before we started recording.
Oh no.
Fire Emblem Three Houses. A character from the Golden Deer House, even.
Mm-hmm.
But it might not be who you're hoping for, because it's not Claude.
Damn.
Instead, let's chat about Lysithea.
Oh god.
Oh, there's an okay. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Me first, though. So Lysithea, honestly, is one of my favorite characters from the game. It is my favorite character from the Golden Deer House. She's entertaining. I'm a fan of her. But as far as her chances in Smash are concerned, I was thinking about this the other day, and originally I was thinking no chance. Like, if we got Byleth representing 3 houses, if you were going to get another character, you would think it would be one of the 3 main lords. But then all their weapons were given to Byleth anyway, so who would it be after that then if the 3 of them are kind of out? Rhea, I guess? But I was thinking about it some more earlier today, and I'm actually thinking a little bit higher on her chances now. Because here's the thing with Lysithea.
Mm-hmm.
One, she's very popular. Fire Emblem Heroes, which I've discussed other times on the show, is a mobile Fire Emblem crossover game where, it's one of those gacha ones where you summon heroes and you spend a currency to get them added to your collection. And every year, at the end of January, they hold an event called Choose Your Legends, where people can vote for one character a day for 7 days. The 2 men and the 2 women who get the most votes will get a special Brave alt created for them that will release late summer that year. 2 years ago, the Choose Your Legends event, that Choose Your Legends 4, which was the first Future Legends event that happened after Three Houses release, it was dominated by three houses. Dimitri and Claude went for the men's side. Edelgard went for the women's side. But the second female character was Lysithea. So clearly, she has a lot of popularity, which helps you out when you're doing a game like Smash. If they're like, hey, we know there's popular characters here, let's go with one of them. When you have a series like Fire Emblem or ARMS, where they're just like, here is a whole ass cast of characters, which one do we choose with? Popular characters sell money. So, you want to go for a popular one. Lysithea's got that down. As far as what she could even bring, especially as far as new stuff, well, she's a dark mage. She specializes in dark magic and is infamous for one spell in particular, Dark Spike's Tea. And you might think, it's like, okay, but there's other dark mages in Fire Emblem. You're right. But here's the points in Lysithea's favor. One, most recent game so far. But two, she's not a villain. And most dark mages in Fire Emblem are villains, or they get an introductory chapter and then are never seen again. Cough, cough. Tharia, cough, cough.
I was actually gonna say that
Yeah.
Tharja, just by stuff popularity, Tharja would kind of overrun her, I think.
And if we were to get another character from Awakening, her and Tiki are high up there on the list, but that would be a fourth character from Awakening, and holy shit, we don't need a fourth Awakening character. But also, even more importantly, Awakening is no longer the fresh and new game.
True.
It's 4 games old now.
Correct.
Because the Valentia remake, Fates, and Three Houses have all come out after it. So Tharia's chances are kind of sunk, as far as I'm concerned. But Jonno, what do you think about Lysithea here?
Right. Also, concerning Tharia, we have to consider all the drama between Sero and Sakurai. And
That's a good point.
Removing the character from Smash because she wasn't developed for good little boys and girls, like I guess. Just like
first in Smash 4, we know this because of the ESRB leak. But in Smash 4, Tharia was going to have a trophy in the game, and trophies are just 3D models of a character standing on a platform, and there's a little blurb about them. But Tharia's trophy never made it into the official release, presumably because the ratings boards, whether it was the ESRB, whether it was Sero or whoever else, wanted to up the rating, and they did not want to up Smash's rating to something like M, so they removed her trophy from the game. That said, we had Pyra and Mythra got some censorship. Bayonetta, I don't know if Bayonetta got changed, but then a few other things, like Mai Shirak Nuai didn't get to have an appearance on the King of Fighters stage, even though she arguably should have been, but because of censorship. And they didn't want to show too much leg. It's a background element.
The 20s?
Yeah, seriously. And I remember Sakurai going like scorched earth on rating scores for it too. Like he was.
And they even like with Pyra Mythra, they gave them long ass tights because apparently showing too much leg raises a rating for the game. I don't get it, but what the fuck ever.
Yeah, it's a strange world out there, I'll tell you. But Lysithea as a character herself, I mean, you spoke to her strengths pretty thoroughly already, I think. Popular character, dark magic. I don't think that we're going to necessarily get a lord who specializes in dark magic anytime soon.
God, that'd be so cool, though.
It would be badass. If you want to fit that mold, then you have a few obvious choices. Her being probably the likeliest, in my opinion, of those. Whether she's the likeliest Fire Emblem character out of the entire Cabal is another story, and I think we'll get to that when we talk about our percentages. But yeah, there's. I will say it's not likely. It's just also not the least likeliest thing to happen.
She has better chances than to do.
And isn't that a shame? Because he's such a strong man.
Only in muscle strength.
Yep. What about Aloise, too? It's too bad. Wonder if Gatekeeper would have higher chances than most of them.
Let's not talk about Gatekeeper tonight.
I think he might. Wouldn't that be the day? Okay, well.
All right, Suji, what are your thoughts on Lucithia?
Like she's a character that I really like, and I know she has a lot of popularity pull. But I actually didn't know the stuff about Tharja, so that's interesting because I was gonna say if they're gonna put any type of dark mage, which would be a really cool thing to add, um, then it would definitely be Tharja because by a landslide she's way more popular. Like I can't stop seeing her no matter where I am. People don't even know who she is, but they see her and they're like, oh yeah, I know that character. Like period, she's everywhere. But because of the rating thing, then it would kind of be like, what's second most popular in that category, and that could easily go to Lucidia. So I think it would be something that would be really interesting. But the biggest thing with anything Fire Emblem is one, they already have a good majority in, and two, there is so many. It's kind of like you're saying, like the grab bag type thing. Like there's so many options that like no people aren't going to be happy no matter what. Like period. But it's one of those things. I don't think she would be very likely, but I think having that dark mage aspect would also be really cool.
Fire Emblem, as you mentioned, has a lot of characters in Smash already. The thing that I think, I don't think the Fire Emblem hate in Smash is actually because of Fire Emblem. The Fire Emblem hate in Smash is because for the characters, all fight very nearly the same. Marth, Roy, who was a clone of Marth in Melee, got a little bit different in Smash 4, but then we had Lucina being another clone of Marth in Smash 4, and then Chrom as a clone of Roy. It's like, seriously?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, I get Lucina and Chrom are popular.
Yeah.
But we need
I
some
feel like
differences.
Lucina was only added for popularity, honestly.
Oh, she was. She was.
Like, nearly popularity, nothing more.
Well, Lucina, the truth behind why she was made playable is in Smash 4, Lucina, Dr. Mario, Alf, and Dark Pit were all just going to initially be alternate costumes of Marth, Olimar, Pit, and Mario. And that's all they were going to be. They were just going to be a different costume. But first of all, there was Dr. Mario, and Sakurai kind of had the thought of like, well, it's kind of weird to make him be an alternate costume when he was previously playable separately in Melee. And they also had enough time where they could develop 3 characters quickly just to finish up the roster. But they only had time for clone-based characters, not like a full, completely different character. So they chose to split off some of those alternate costumes into their own character slots. So Dr. Mario, Dark Pit, and Lucina all become their own slots purely because of that. Alf, unfortunately, got screwed over. But that's disappointing. And even in Ultimate, they still didn't split Alf out. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, see, and that's part of the reason I think that I liked Corrin so much, because Corrin at least has something different to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like yes, it's still Fire Emblem, and I absolutely love Fire Emblem. And to be fair, Smash is how I even found out what Fire Emblem was and started playing it.
I think that's the case for 90% of the American Fire Emblem fan base.
Well, like I actually loved playing Roy whenever he became more like an individual character. I loved playing Roy, and I did really well with him. And I was like, okay, I feel like I need to know who this bitch is from. And they're like, oh yeah, it's this Japanese like tactician type game. Okay, cool. I was like, all right, fine, I'm good with puzzles. Let's try it. And I fucking never went back, unfortunately for me. So.
And Roy's game still has not been localized.
Oh yeah, fucking. Ugh. We don't even start me on that.
Yeah, but. That's kind of like my point with Fire Emblem, though. It's like we have 4 sword characters that all fight very similarly to each other. Then we have Robin, who uses magic and sword, which is cool. Okay, I'm good with that. Then we have Corrin, who a bit of a complicated relationship with me personally. My thoughts on Corrin, but I do love how unique that they are in Smash. In Smash, less so in Ultimate, but in Smash 4, I liked playing as them a lot. They were one of my favorites to use. Ultimate, they're still good. They're just not as... they just feel slightly different to me. I don't know what it is. But then we also got Byleth added in. And it's like, Byleth took a little bit of bow, axe, and lance, all mixed in one, which I was really rather just hoping we could have a lance move character or a axe character, not just, here's a mismatch of everything.
It kind of takes away from the special instead of adding to it.
Right. So, like, I would have had something like Ephraim to be a lance user, or Hecht using an axe, or Lindis using a bow. Or you could have a full mage, Robin is magic and sword, which makes sense
I
because
mean-
he's a tactician. But somebody like Lysithea, or Tharia, or even a light mage user like Micaiah, or a more anime user like Lilina, any of them could be like, here's an archetype that we don't have representing Fire Emblem yet.
Arguably, I would say Lagoos in general, any of the people that transform into animals. Literally any.
I would
Like,
be
take
down
your
for
pick.
that as well.
Like,
I would love to have
Ranulph,
a
Cough,
moveset
Cough.
like that. Yeah, Ranulph would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think if they were going to have
I would
any
love to
animal
have Yarn.
transforming character from Fire Emblem into Smash, I feel like Ranulph is the pick. And then if
I
you're going,
personally would
if
really-
you're including Maniquettes, then obviously Tiki just beats everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't count Maniquette, you just count like the beast-like characters. Ranulph kicks everyone else's ass as the choice. He's the single most important one, and he's popular.
I would say since you have like Corin too to keep the Maniquettes out
I
of it.
mean,
But what would be really cool.
Corin is a centaur.
That's I mean you're not wrong, but I personally would say Yarn because I think that and this gets into technicals I guess, but the voice lines would be so much cooler because Yarn is so timid, so everything would be like, I'm sorry. Like, its voice lines would be, I would play it just for the voice lines alone. Like, Yarn would be amazing.
Note to self, Yarn assist trophy.
Yes, I love Yarn. I named a rat.
I like
him.
Yarn and
I
Pan.
love him.
I prefer Pan over Yarn personally, but I like them both. They're fun characters.
I like Yarn. He's a good boy.
But as far as Lysithea herself is concerned,
Yes.
I think the dark popularity and recency and being a non-villainous dark magic user, I think are all great points in her book. The problem, though, is again, will Sakurai himself even say, "Hey, there's a little bit too much Fire Emblem"? Very possible. The way that he kind of said things about Byleth seemed to imply that when Nintendo told him add Byleth, he was just like,
Yeah.
"You want another Fire Emblem character? Okay, but you sure?"
And you
But why?
That's yeah. Like Sakurai likes Fire Emblem, but even he was just like, "I think this might be a bit much, but you're the boss." But Lysithea, it's like, I feel like if we are going to get another Three Houses character, and if Byleth doesn't get changed to not having the Three Lords weapons, I feel like she has the next best chances of any Three Houses character. But maybe this is going to be a new Fire Emblem game by then. Or maybe they'll decide to represent another popular game that doesn't have a character yet, like Sacred Stones. So it makes it a little bit difficult. I don't, like, I want to give her higher chances, but I think I'm going to just slot in... I'm going to go 20. Which feels high. It feels high.
Yeah.
But, sure, there are a lot of Fire Emblem characters, but there's only a small few that I think could be, or in the bucket of potential options that Sakurai would even draw from. And if he's going to add another Fire Emblem character, I do think she has a strong chance. So I'm going to go 20.
Sure. Yeah, this is one of those things where we're looking ahead to a game that we don't know is not in active development as far as we know, and it's
if it is, then they need to not be. Like, let Sakurai take a vacation, fuckers.
Seriously. And it's one of those things. Fire Emblem is a very popular franchise now, and it is something that sees fairly frequent releases. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a remake on the Switch before all said and done with the Switch, just for starters. Whether that be Radiant Dawn, the Radiant Saga, or
there have been rumors of Tellius remakes, of Jug Draw remakes, of what's the world called for? Is that Roy's World, Alib? Whatever Roy's World is. There's been remakes for all three of those duos of games. They pretty much rotate in and out on which one is being rumored. Just give us one of them. You've given us 3 remakes so far. Really 1.5 because America didn't get the remake for Mystery of the Emblem. But just give us the fucking games and give us casual mode so that I can play them.
Can mood.
Yeah, and it's a question because it's like if Roy's games get remade, then will what's her name, Liliana, be the most likely mage? Will Hector
Probably.
or Lynn or whoever, come back from the woodwork, or Fertelius, Micaiah, whatever, will they be the most likeliest thing after that? Or will a new Lord come around in a new Fire Emblem game and totally upend everything? So there's so many different variables here. It's hard to say. 20 does feel high for her, but I understand your logic because we're looking at it from the lens of now, trying to predict the future. And because these other variables, a future Fire Emblem game, of course they're the most likeliest thing, and they're also boring to say, okay, yeah, of course they're going to be the one. So, I'm still not sure about it, so I'm going to lean... I'll go a little lower. I was going to say 10, but I'll say 15 for after your close.
All right. Suji, final thoughts? Percent. What you got for Lucidia?
Man, like I said, there's a lot of Fire Emblem characters already, and we were talking about, if there'd be another Fire Emblem game that would come out and stuff like that, and they've been putting them out pretty frequently, so I feel like there's a higher chance of, like, hell, we could have, like, tomorrow be like, hey, surprise, like, this is coming out like a month. Like, you know what, I would buy it, like, 110%, literally and figuratively. Like, I would buy into that and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's about right.
It's been 2.5 years since Three Houses.
That's what I'm saying.
Time for another game.
Oh my god, has it really been that long?
Yeah,
too?
July 2019.
Yeah, it's just, like, it is the most current game, but it's not a current game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think with what they have, like, right now, I think there would be no point. I think it would be more of waiting and, like, trying to stall out to see if a new one comes out so they can add, like, a main character or something from that, or not really doing it at all at this point. Because of that, I'm actually gonna give, like, I'm gonna say an 8%, actually.
8%? All right. Well, let's see how that averages out, and that will land Lucidia at 14.33% chances, according to us, of getting into the next Smash Brothers game, which puts her at the bottom 5 so far.
Good for her.
I mean, we've done, including her, she's now the 16th character we've done, so bottom 5's not terrible.
Fair.
It's not bottom 3. But our next character is actually from a game that we've had you on to talk about before.
Oh, no.
Somebody from League of Legends. Now, which one of these 372 characters does Jonno choose to talk about today? Well, I didn't remember this character existing when he sent it to me. I was like, sure, what the fuck? It's Lux.
Alright.
That's not now, when I did my research for League of Legends for that episode, Lux is not a character I recall encountering.
Lux has become the League of Legends poster child.
Oh,
she has an illegal amount of skins. She has so many prestige, and yes, I'm bitter about it. Like, she has so much... I can't rant about it. But yes, she's become the poster child for League. So, yes.
Which is funny, because when I did my brief look into her before we started, it said she was the 62nd character added to that game.
Yeah, it's popularity, and how many skins she sells, how often she gets played, how fucking OP she is, etc. Okay. She's become the poster child based off of that. Like, their original poster child was Ash, and then it turned to Teemo, and it's just flat out Lux now.
Okay. Here I was thinking it was Misfortune.
No, I wish I would accept that more.
But Lux on here, that actually is very helpful to know, though, because that helped me with my rating a lot, to know that she is more or less the current face of the game. But with Lux, we essentially have, a girl who does light magic, which is a fun little counter to having us just discuss Lucidia. I looked into her abilities a little bit, and I feel like if she was added, like, you could choose her just because she'd have some unique shit that she could do. Like, apparently she has an ability, Illumination, that marks an opponent, and then later on, I think when she hits them with another attack, if I'm understanding this correctly, she'll do bonus damage. It was like, that could be a fun stat effect to have in Smash. Sakurai likes adding characters with unique gimmicks that you can play on, just make them stand out more, especially when they're a third-party character. And I think that's something that he would instantly latch out to. It's like, I can do fun shit with that. Even just and then creating like spheres of light or areas that like restrict people's movements. If I'm understanding things correctly, if they enter the field, like there's some cool stuff that they can do with her. The problem with League of Legends is that there's a lot of characters, a lot,
Mhm.
and if you look at
And
it that
they put
way,
out like
it's
5 or 6 more every year.
yeah, and it's been going. And she was the 60-second character out of the game in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Good God, how many are in it now? I don't even want to fucking know.
Almost
I
400. I
kind
think.
of want to
Ow.
know, honestly, but it's insanity. But if we were to get a character from this game, they're definitely going to go with a popular character. Even when it came to adding Min Min from ARMS, Sakurai was trying to debate between Ninjara or Min Min, and he straight up went to the producer of the game. It's like, hey, who do you think I should add? And they said, add Min Min. At first, he was just like, not Springman though. We're just like, Arm, because he's the main character. Like Arms doesn't really have a main
because
character.
Springman is an incel. Yeah.
I don't think that was the reason, but okay. Uh, but with Springman, there was just like, there's not really a main character to the Arms. Like, okay, that's fair. League of Legends, from my understanding, and to be fair, I have a minimal understanding, doesn't have a main character either. So going with a character who is super popular and is the face of the game and sells more alt money than anybody else makes a lot of sense to me. But then there's the question of, are they going to add a League of Legends character? Don't know.
Yeah, sure. There's a, I think there's a precedent for it, right? We're looking into genre representation in Smash. Every game adds in a little something more to where now we're dealing with very few major genres that we have yet to have represented in the game. Uh, MOBAs are probably like the largest one, or MMORPGs. And they could both kind of fall into that same, massive online umbrella. Um, so there's some ways they can
Umbrella.
go with it. They can go with League, yeah. They can go with League. They can go with World of Warcraft or MMOs.
I don't think they're going with anything Activision right now.
No. Oh, Microsoft's a good friend of them, aren't they? But yeah, that's true. That's true. Interesting times with that. Um, to the point saying, I do think that League has a likelihood. I sure hope that out of the trendy online games, we'd get something meteor like League over like, hey guys, it's Jonesy in Smash, which unfortunately is probably likelier than we want to admit. To your other points, yeah, I mean the League politics aside, where love and hate abound with Lux, but the light magic based characters, again, something else that we don't really have represented well in Smash. You have Zelda, who's billed kind of as a light mage, but really is more of an anima type mage. So there's the precedent there. But again, anything, I think she's about as likely as any of the other more popular League characters. You could have gone Ash or Jinx or whoever in this spot. Just went with Lux because cursory search on Google. Oh yeah, she's the most popular now. I was like, oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that Suji didn't say that
mean,
Jinx was the face now.
Jinx's popularity is very, very strong, but Lux is still the poster child. Riot babies her a lot. She's like, prestige skins are the most expensive you can get because they generally change voice lines, the way voices sound. They change the entire skin. Like, it's more expensive because it has a lot. And she has, like, it's very rare for a champion to even have one, and she has 3 now, I think. So she's babied by them is the biggest thing. Jinx is like, yeah, here's this cool thing. We put her in a show, enjoy. But also Lux, Lux, like shoving them at people. Lux though, Lux.
I kind of like. Again, I don't know League, but I just looking at the character picture that I have here. I don't know why she's the most popular character. Is it just because pretty girl?
Right.
Is that it?
She's very OP in game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Her final ability is a cross map ability, meaning it clears the entire map. in the direction that she chooses, and it's literally just a beam of light that does massive damage. She can shield herself and allies in the same movement. She has damage over time stuff. She's like, literally, you build AP on her, and she gets really ridiculous very quickly. She's very easy to be overpowered no matter how long you've played the game with her. So she's easy to pick up, she's easy to keep. You could do more complicated stuff, or you could do more simple stuff and still have a good time with her. Like, she is genuinely fun to play. I do play her. I just get really sick of seeing a new skin for her every other month, personally.
Fair enough. When are we going to get the Harley Quinn
Yeah.
skin for Jinx?
You know what? I would fucking love that. I mean,
It's
we're
like,
all waiting
I
for
mean,
this
it's
point.
obvious that was the inspiration for the character, right?
Yeah,
Come on.
correct. Yeah.
What about Urgot? I wonder what his chances would be in Smash.
Who?
I feel like Urgot would be very low because Urgot is he's not very well played. He's not super popular. He's more of a joke character by a lot of people, and then occasionally you'll find somebody in the game, like, is somebody who's playing him who's just like, oh, they're like, oh, whatever, they got stuck with him or something, and they just wrecks house, and you're like, Jesus Christ, it's the rare Urgot main. Like, he's good, but you have to know how to play him, and he's not very popular at all. Urgot is basically have you seen Wild Wild West, the Will Smith movie?
Years ago.
Oh.
Okay, you know the villain dude on the like spider legs? That's basically
Kind of.
Urgot. That's basically Urgot, but make him like half a fat Frankenstein and put him on crab legs. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even fucking kidding. His whole lore is that he's basically
Wild West.
like, his whole lore
My
is basically he's a fighter. He's a warrior that was so good they literally would not let him die. Like, they kept resurrecting him in various ridiculous ways. He was not allowed to die because he was like a great fighter. Scion is like that too. Scion and Urgot have a lot of stuff that are alike with them.
Interesting.
It's yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah, they both look pretty unfortunate.
very much so. Yeah. Scion got a recent update though, so he's a little more popular at the
there you
moment. Urgot needs it.
Nice.
Okay.
But on Lux at least, I okay. As much as I hate seeing her skins and shit around all the time, I actually think this is a great pick because League of Legends is insanely popular now more than ever because they just put out Arcane, which it doesn't matter if you've seen or played League at all. Arcane is fucking amazing. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It is so fucking good. And they put so much care into it. Like, every time you watch it, you find new shit. It's really good. They have Valorant, which is really popular with streamers at the moment. They have the card game. They have TFT, which is a turn-based mode, which I am awful at, but I love it. And then, of course, they have the classic game. They still have 3 different modes of that. Plus, like, there's always some new game mode that they're putting out. Like, they've put out, like, everything, and they're still making more shit. Like, they're going into, like, every genre with stuff. They're making cinematics. They're making shows. They're making shooters. They're making card games. They're making, you know, so that
They're making a
popularity
brand.
factor. Yes, it is not. Yeah, that's exactly it. And like, you know, because of that, and it's like everything they've done too. They've had wild success in. Like, all of it has gone really well. The card game is probably the most lukewarm, but like, it's still popular. So it's a good pick because of the game genre, and also because Lux poster child. So it would probably be pretty high up there, if not the pick. To me, if they did do anybody from League of Legends, the ones they would probably look at would be Ashe, Teemo, or Lux.
Not
and
Ari?
Teemo, I don't personally think they would do Ari. They might. Ari's one of those popular with the community, but I don't see her as much as the other ones. Like, as far as like being poster child material type thing. Like, they baby her a bit, but they just kind of give her kind of lukewarm skins here and there, like standard stuff. They don't baby her as much as they did the others. Ashe was their like original poster child, but she is Frost Arrows, so I feel like that could be interesting, but it also could be really bland. Hemo might be a little more difficult. It would be interesting, but it might be a little bit more difficult. But I think Lux would be the easiest to translate, just because that her abilities can transfer very very easily, as far as like Final Smash versus her ultimate and everything like that. And she also has, like that I was saying earlier, that shield, which would be really interesting. And that damage over time would be really cool too. And she could also have a lot of really cool lines, because her whole lore is that she's a mage in an area that basically kills slash enslaves mages, so she hides what she is, type thing. So she has a lot of like, oh, I'm the goody goody two shoes, and then like the second she's free, she's like, oh my god, this is amazing, like actually being able to use her abilities. So I think she would have some really cool voice lines with that too, being able to interact with different people and stuff like that. I think it would be really cool. So I actually really like this pick.
All right. Maybe we can get Tom Kinch as the assist trophy for the game then.
Oh god. I don't know if that's gonna fit the rating.
He's just a giant frog, man.
He's just a giant frog that attacks people with his tongue and eats people. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Like Yoshi.
Also, he's
like
not a frog, he's a
Yoshi. Yeah.
I mean, yes, but he's a little more of a
Also,
way.
Kirby swallows people.
That's true, but both of those are in a cutesy kid's way. Tom Kinch is not. Tom Kinch is literally, his lore is he's literally like the monster under the bed. He is that horror story that's not supposed to be real.
Oh, it's me.
I mean, also true.
All right, so final thoughts on Lux here. So the note about her being the popular face character that they love having money for definitely raises my opinion on her chances. Her light abilities bring her unique strengths that she would have in Smash that other characters don't. One thing I want to note is that on the subject of like who they would pick, it's generally speaking like the company. Well, they have insight. It's never just like the company going to Sakurai and be like, "Hey, we want you to put Lux in." It's Sakurai going to them is like, "Hey, I want to add in Lux." So it's typical character like he would pick, and they have influence. Like they might say like, "Well, why not do this person instead?" Especially if he like might be between a few characters and he's just trying to negotiate for, or he's just like, "Hey, I want a character from your game." And they're just like, "Well, we want to promote this one, so it's them or nothing." So it kind of depends on like how those negotiations will go, but typically. It starts with Sakurai wanting something and then him going to negotiate for it. But if she is the face of it, it would kind of make sense that he might go for it because she is popular as well and has those unique traits to her. That said, I don't think we're getting a League of Legends character in Smash. I'm not against it if it happens. One thing that Jonno brought up was different genres getting them represented in Smash, and there's nothing MOBA or massive multiplayer online related. But I feel like if Sakurai gave a flying fuck about representing genres in Smash and giving them their due, we would have had a shooter character added in the Ultimate. We would have gotten Master Chief, or we would have gotten Doom Guy, or somebody else of that ilk. And you know who we didn't get? Any of that. So if he's not going to put in FPS characters to represent the genre, he's not going to put in a MOBA character to represent the genre. We could still get one, but it's not going to be just to represent MOBA. So with that said, I'm giving Lux 6%. If I thought there's a strong chance of getting a league character in general, then I would raise that. But I don't think we're getting a league character, regardless of who it is. Jonno.
Sure. There are League's greatest adversary tier is not another character from another franchise. It's essentially League itself. There would need to be a few hoops to jump through. I think that would happen. I think League would need more of a presence on a Nintendo console to really bolster its chances, which is not impossible. I think that there may be a spinoff or two on the Switch. I'm not sure.
Is there? I thought League was all PC because they have their own launcher for everything.
Maybe that card game was on there or something. But regardless, I mean the presence in the community is strong. It's one of the most talked about online games I think probably ever. So it's essentially, do you want to go down that route? And it's again, dicey territory, previous unexplored, so it's hard to say.
Oh shit! They have an RPG that released last year on multi-platform.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There you go.
Right.
There you go. So, and with that being said, I mean, since there's the precedent, since they have had that loose collaboration with Nintendo placing that spin-off title on their system, there's at least that there. Kind of like how Joker, I mean, he came in with Personal Q2 being his one appearance.
I mean, Cloud came in with Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Yeah. So there's loopholes that they can make if they want to make them. So the question is, do they want to make it? It's hard to say. Cloud and Joker were at least, popular Japanese characters. Coming from a Western company might still stent it a little bit. And it's hard to say if Lux, being as popular as she is, will she maintain that popularity into Smash 6, or will someone else ultimately surmount her spot? I was thinking a lot higher than you at first, but you bring up good points. I'm still going to kind of stem away from 6%. I will go 14 points higher. Just go say 20%. It's a wild card.
All right. Just one quick thing I want to mention. The game that I found that is multi-platform. Apparently, it takes place in Bilgewater, and the playable characters that has are Pike, Braum, Misfortune, Ilaoi. Thank you. Ari and Yasuo.
Ari and Yasuo is random. They're from Ionia. The fuck?
I don't know. They're finding the source of the Black Mist, whatever that is. They're going to the Shadow Isles.
Yes, absolutely. That's my baby right there.
I think it's a series of islands. I don't think they can be a baby, but okay.
They are to me. Don't argue me.
That's weird. They say don't kink shame, but I'm breaking that rule. Anyways.
Right, well, I was gonna do quite a bit, like, astronomically higher than you all, but you do have some good points of the fact that there's not a whole lot of correlation at the moment. However, one thing, and this is coming from, I guess, not quite outside knowledge, but I guess greater knowledge on League stuff. Lux is also extremely popular in China as well, and she's also pretty well censored. So I think that they wouldn't have to fight a whole lot. So
what needs to be censored about this design?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of League characters that would have to fight censorship stuff. I'm saying League, or Lux specifically, doesn't need to fight that. Her personality doesn't need to fight that. Her looks don't need to fight that. She's popular, like, worldwide. She's the poster child. League is at their very, like, Riot Games is at their very peak right now. So I feel like it would be something that would be very smart for both ends to do still. So I am going to lower what I was originally going to say, but having that extra knowledge, I'm going to keep it at 85%, actually. Yes. Okay. No, I think League would be something that would be really, really honestly a smart thing to put in, like I said, for both sides, personally.
So just so I understand correctly, you're saying that you think that there is an 85% chance that Lux will be in the next Smash Bros. Game as a playable character.
Pajama Guardian Lux, specifically.
Yes. I can see that too.
Checking out the costume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is interesting. Lux is combined rating. Well, drop her down significantly from 85, but raise her up significantly from 6. She will round out to a 37% chance.
Okay.
Which puts her in between Shantae and Lara Croft. All right. Well, our next character we're going to talk about is one that I don't think you're going to give an 85% chance to. I certainly will not be. It's the Trapper from Dead by Daylight. Again, Jonno picked the characters for this episode.
Now
It wasn't me.
Consider a few things. We cannot say 0%.
Yes.
We cannot say
I forgot to mention that. Yes, you cannot say 0 because technically anything has a chance. And you cannot say 100 because technically anything can happen.
right.
So and we also are not doing halves.
Yeah.
It's whole numbers.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, imagine. I'll do like 50.2346.
I would kill you. None of that near replicant shit. Near replicant version 1.224 fucking why did you name your game this? God. Anyways, the Trapper. So I play Dead by Daylight a lot. Suji plays it a lot. We both play it more than we should because the game is bad.
Hear it.
Don't play the game, people.
Really
please don't play the game. God, it's
two
like
please
League
don't
of
play the games
Legends.
back to back. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Trapper, this is a game about murder and torture and catching people, then putting them on gigantic meat hooks for them to suffer as you are sacrificing them to a giant spider god of the sky.
Who has kidnapped you and basically left you in limbo.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what it has over League of Legends? It's actually on the Switch.
Touche.
Trapper, kind of like Lux, Trapper is the face killer, rather, for Dead by Daylight. The game, the survivors are all borderline skins of each other. A couple of them, Dwight, I would say, is the main survivor that people would recognize, if not him, Claudette. But the Trapper is very much the face of the game. He's the character that you see in the opening cutscene, doing the murdering. He's one of the first characters that was out of the game. I think he was the first one that was in the beta. I think the game started out with just him in the beta.
Yeah, I know it was their first original.
Yeah.
I think he was like the first killer, period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The main release later on did get Wraith and Hillbilly, but it started out with just Trapper. And he's pretty simple. He's got a gigantic meat cleaver that he hits you with. He'll place bear traps on the ground, and if you step in them, your leg gets caught, and you better hope you can escape from the trap. He is by far the simplest killer in the game. Arguably. Legion is also very simple. And to be fair, so is Wraith and Hillbilly. But for the most part, killers that released after the game did, the DLC killers, are getting more and more complex with each killer. But Trapper is very simplistic. Back in Season 1 of Select Star Gaming, not Select Star Gaming, goddamn, I did it again. Super Cast Brothers, wrong show. The final Smashtopia episode we did, John and I both did a theme of, we each did a separate character, of picking the character that theoretically has a chance to be in Smash, but for whatever reason will not be, in our opinion. And I did a moveset for the Trapper. I made a whole thing for him where he would use his bear traps, he would be able to use Noed. He had a couple of things, I don't remember exactly what I did for him. But I made a moveset for him, and I proved that you can. But here's the problem with the Trapper, and with Dead by Daylight in general. It's an M-rated game about murder. Straight up gruesome, horrifying murder. Nintendo ain't gonna fuck with that. Maybe, there's theoretically a chance, but Nintendo ain't gonna fuck with that. Jonno.
Yeah, I chose the Trapper because of for Dead by Daylight, if you lobbed it past as a potential option, because it would be funny. And also because it does have that Supercast for this precedent where we talked about it at length for that Smashtopia episode a little while ago. Not a whole lot more I can offer than that. I think the content of the game, the existence of Dead by Daylight, period. There was a time when 20 years ago, Nintendo wouldn't even allow this damn thing on their console.
Yep. Mortal Kombat had to censor the blood.
Which is ridiculous and fucking absurd, and thank God we're past all that. But to say they still have some blocks up, I'm sure, for what they would bring into their world and their IP. It would be hilarious. It would be strange and cool, as your moveset on Smashtopia wiki would what's the right word? Be an example of essentially. Don't have much else to say beyond that though.
All right, Suji.
Yeah, I mean, most of the points I feel like were already made. The biggest thing here is like anything that I can think of to honestly put in with him is gonna be borderline with the rating. Like literally anything, because his whole point is everything he does is gruesome and violent. That's literally the whole point of the character. If you alter it, it'll be like past that, it's not Trapper anymore. It's just this whatever other character that happens to share the name and the company that they put in instead. It's not Trapper anymore. And so yeah, just for the fact of to make it match the rating, you would have to strip the character completely down to nothing. Yeah, I see that as like highly unlikely.
Maybe
So,
we could strip Trapper down to
let's not do that. It's like
the internet already has.
It's like the thing is that they actually could make Trapper work if they wanted to, because your Smash Combat, like with your normal moves, your specials and whatnot, he's not going to be like ripping people's heads off or just driving cleaver through people's hearts for his attacks. That wouldn't be how he'd work regardless. Even if they made a Dead by Daylight fighting game, you're not going to have a move where they just completely slash open your neck, because you can't really do that in a fighting game. But
Right.
the final smash does need to be something brutal to represent him in the game. It's either going to be placing them on the hook and watching them die, or it's going to be his Mori, where he just instantly kills somebody. With my rendition I worked on him for, I did the final smash where it's just the straight up murder. He just Moris them.
I was gonna say a hook spawn hook and then have entity come and like grab them type thing.
So I went with the Mori because I made the hook be his recovery up special. A hook appears and it carries him up into the air.
That's funny. I like that.
Yeah, it's like imagine like you're on like the bus or subway or whatever. You're just like holding on the rope as you're looking on your phone. Yeah, that's how he's holding the hook. It's pretty much that. It just lifts him up in the air a little bit. It's not a very great recovery, but it was a recovery. But that said, as has been mentioned, the game is just too violent. I don't see Sakurai ever going to Dead by Daylight to get a character. First of all, again, the game's not good. Okay?
Yes, of course.
Like, do I play it? And can it be fun to play? Yes. But the game is a buggy mess, and the developers are shits about it. They famously, they had a Q&A recently where they, as always, said very little, and pretty much their most responses was like, we can't really talk about it this time. But then other things they were making comments about people being able to win the game in certain conditions, and a developer, had some memes made about him, and he got upset, and they removed some exclusive Twitch cosmetics from that from the person who made the memes. Like, really? You're gonna be that petty about this? It's like, okay. It's like, I just don't see it happening. If Sakurai was going to get a character from this game, if he wanted to, it would absolutely be the Trapper. It just makes the most sense to go with that character. But that said, I'm going to go with a 1%. Jonno.
Yeah. At this point, I have said that we can't go 0%. So, yeah, I wonder. Maybe a 99 would do. No, just kidding. Maybe a 1%. I mean,
Okay.
Come on.
Suchi.
Your 7 swords. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's, and this is also coming from somebody who's extremely like in love with anything like creepy and like horror based and that type of thing, like stuff that makes your skin crawl. I would be great.
Right here.
Well, I mean, why do you think I still talk to him all this time? Like, Jesus. But
I need to go take a shower.
but yeah, I feel like it would be enough that like I personally would be upset just because there would be so much editing done, and it would kind of make him into more of a joke than the poor guy already is. So yeah, 1%.
At least he's not the clown. Hey. Well, I think.
What does that average out to?
Well, that averages out to 1%, which is the lowest rating we've ever had for a character. Holy shit, we've done it, guys. I feel like that's part of the reason Jonno picked this character, because he knew that was going to happen. But, hey, you know what? We got it out of the way. We'll never have one lower than that. So, this next character is going to be Wilson from Don't Starve.
Okay, I was like, I know a lot of Wilsons. Hold on. Okay.
Yes, not the old man from Home Improvement.
Not the volleyball?
Not the volleyball.
Well,
Not... What's the other one? There's something else. Anyways, I don't remember it. So, Wilson, I don't know Don't Starve too well. I played Don't Starve together when Suji was like, hey, play this fucking game. It's like, fine, whatever. And it's a survival game.
Mm-hmm.
And creepy shit's happening. And some of the things that you can do involve making a campfire to try and decrease sanity. Or wearing a flower headband thing. I forget what it's called. And it can try and save your life. But don't get near the spiders. Don't let those creepy shadow hands touch you, or you're gonna go insane. I did not.
The general
play the
thing with Don't Starve is literally everything is trying to kill you.
Yes.
Like, it could come across as innocent first, but literally the trees will try to kill you. If you chop down too many without replanting them, the forest goes, hey bud, fuck you, and you have every tree where you run past is suddenly
Honestly, though, that's fair.
I mean, honestly, I hated it when it first happened because I wasn't expecting it, but I literally had to trash that whole file because it was just fun.
I mean, that's like when I played RuneScape for a while. It's like I just chopped down the trees a lot. And it's like, fuck, I'd have to do just getting some wood. Then I'm gonna sell it. And then wait, why am I being attacked? Oh my god! You chopped down too many trees, and there's a random event that says, hey, you're gonna get fucked up now. It's like, okay. Same thing if you mine too much. All of a sudden, there's a golem about to smash your asshole open. It's like, no, sir, please, not again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the thing. Don't Starve in Wilson. I don't know that this game would be on Nintendo's radar or Sakurai's, but it would be, you know, if they're looking for genres, here's a genre that they haven't hit. Oh, well, Minecraft technically kind of hit it. But the original Don't Starve actually has a plot to it, whereas Don't Starve Together doesn't, and I think that's really stupid. Yeah, I really wish
it's a sandbox. Yeah,
I
it's just
really
meant to play with friends endlessly.
Yeah, but I wish they had actually put multiplayer into the main game so you could actually do that. That would have been more interesting to me. Like I would have been more interested in playing it if they had done that.
I agree, but it's more of the plot line with the main game is meant to be something of you go it alone. Like it adds to the theming and the theatrics of it and your own personal feelings. If you're playing it through with a friend, it wouldn't hit the same, pretty much.
I mean, you could be alone together.
I mean, that's why there's Survive Together. It's
Yes. But I do think if they were to add him, there is some interesting things that they can do with him. I think being able to place like a campfire trap, that would be fun. Either have the campfire be like you can sit around it and maybe you can get healed when you're next to it, or you place down it and other people run through it. Well, they just got damaged because they ran through fucking fire like an idiot. But I was trying to think of like what could be a cool little gimmick for Wilson to have. So I went looking into him earlier, and each character in Don't Starve has their own unique trait to them. Wilson can grow a beard. This is his trait. It's growing a beard. Yeah. now there's two things that you can do with this. You can either do one idea is to have some alternate costumes where he has a big old bushy beard, which would be pretty fucking funny. Or here's the idea I have for Wilson. Go the Wario method, where he has a fart that's constantly being charged up, kind of like how Rob always has that laser beam that's being charged up. Well, Wilson, as the fight is going on, is constantly growing out that beard. And then now in Don't Starve, when you eventually trim the beard, correct me if I'm wrong here, Suji, but you get health, don't you? You get something.
You get the fibers from his beard for crafting,
which I thought did.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, no, okay, yeah. Here it says like the beard can be shaved for beard hair, allowing the player to easily make a meat effigy and restoring 10 sanity. That's what it is.
Oh,
that's
sanity,
where I was thinking.
Yes.
So my thought was that okay, so that's the match that's going on. He's growing his beard, but then you can choose with one of your special buttons to shave off your beard and regain some of your health, and you get so much back based on how much of your beard you grew.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty different.
That would be
That'd be fun.
I didn't think really about. Yeah, it would. It would.
That said,
And then what? Otherwise, he's kind of a crafting character.
yeah, there's a lot of fucking crafting and some survival stuff. I know some of his official art. I don't know if it's official or if it's just fan art, but he wields an axe. I don't know if I don't remember how many different weapons are in the game, but I know he probably has
Everybody
an axe.
can wield the same weapons. The only one that's different is I can't remember her name, but there's a girl that comes with a lighter, and there's a lumberjack that comes with a special axe.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes characters in these games, like, they're more like art wise, they tend to be associated with certain things more than others.
Mm-hmm. True.
Mm-hmm.
Jonno, what you think about Wilson?
I think he's a pretty nice guy, pretty nice beard. It might be that you are Wilson before us right this very moment.
I mean, his hair go up, my hair go up.
Yeah.
That said, I don't pour experimental potions down a chicken's throat, so.
Okay. Could that be incorporated into the moveset?
Theoretically, I don't know what he's doing with that chicken.
Chicken bombs.
What?
Chicken bombs. Pour potions in the chicken. Throw the chicken. The chicken hits something and explodes and has an effect. Chicken bombs. Sorry, not sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That's brilliant. I love this.
It takes a minute to charge, and the charge animation is literally like pouring the potion.
Now here's what I have to ask: is this real,
tossing.
or are you making bullshit?
Oh, I know, I'm making it up.
Fuck. Because, like, his official artwork is him pouring a potion down a chicken's throat. So I'm just like, what the fuck's happening here?
So the base thing with Wilson is he's the main character, like, for the game. Like, he's the poster child type thing. Like, there's other characters you can play, but he's the main one that you know. But he's I don't remember if he's an inventor or a scientist.
He's a scientist.
Yeah, so that's his whole thing, is discovering things and experimenting and things like that. So I think that's just in the image. At least as far as I'm aware, that hasn't actually happened. It's just in the not copyrighted image, official image, concept image. There we go.
Well, now I'm incredibly disappointed.
I mean, I believe it,
because you were giving me ideas.
I mean, the concept art with that is pretty infamous. So I mean, it could get translated.
Pan flute, apparently. I mean, that's a plus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyone that plays a pan flute is okay by me.
Sure. See.
And also, never trust a man in a tunic.
Considering he's a scientist, though, I think they would lean harder on him making sciencey things instead of going down the more magic-y route.
True.
It would make more sense for him.
True.
Well, when you frame it in the idea of crafting sciencey stuff, that definitely makes the character more interesting than just, here is an axe, here is a pick, here is a torch, which again is kind of already Minecraft territory.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right. Okay.
So Suji, what do you think about Wilson here?
So I actually see more potential here, just because I really love Don't Starve, but there's like the potential of switching between weapons if you wanted to do along those lines, to where it's like the pickaxe, the shovel, you know, the standard weapons that you use like first thing in the game. I think something that would I'm getting like general ideas, but I think something else would be kind of cool is like periodically, if like petals or something appeared on the stage, and if he collected them, like he gains a little bit of health back after X amount of them or something like that, because the flower crowns. So in game, if you get a certain amount, you collect and you make a flower crown, you get constant sanity back, which sanity is it will always kill you first. If you've never played Don't Starve, it will always kill you first because you underestimate it. It everything takes down your sanity. So that's usually whenever I play, the first thing I do is grab rock, sticks, and flowers, because I will always keep a flower crown on. Just one bad thing happens and your sanity tanks. When your sanity gets low enough, shadow beasts attack you, Like the shadows literally turn into creatures that turn
Yep.
physical and kill you.
And if
I'm
they
not
touch
kidding
you,
when
it's
everything
bad.
tries to. Yes, like I'm not kidding when I say everything tries to kill you. It's yeah, but two other things that I feel like would be something fun to add for like certain abilities is Chester. Chester is this little. He's kind of like the size of like an overgrown pincushion, and he has legs, and he kind of acts like a puppy, and he has his tongue sticking out. But he opens his mouth, and he serves as a chest that basically follows you around everywhere as long as you're carrying a wand.
Okay.
He's the cutest fucking thing, and there's a plush that actually is usable that I wanted so bad. But anyways, Chester is a very infamous character, especially with Wilson. So I think that one would be something interesting to maybe add in, and also the Beefalo. I feel like would be a good like Final Smash type thing. To the fact of like because Beefalo are passive creatures unless they're in mating season, and then they will attack you, but they're passive creatures that you can also tame and like make a ranch essentially of beefalo. Like you can, there's a lot you could do with them, including harvesting their fur for the winter and riding them and all kinds of things. So I think like sending like a horde of beefalo or something for like a final smash would be really cool. And like anything with any types of potions or anything like that, being a scientist, like I feel like there's a lot of chances for abilities and stuff here. And it's also one of those franchises, it's not exactly new, but it is timeless. Like the people who know that game, or who play that game, still play that game. You can go on Twitch right now and there'll be at least a dozen people playing. Like and it's one of those things like it doesn't really die. It's almost like cult classic level type thing. So I think that would be a pretty interesting one. And you can do a lot of like rating friendly things with that one because yeah, it has that creepy factor, but you can easily take it out because the game makes fun of itself actively.
Right.
So and it's more of creepy than actually gory or scary, unlike the Dead by Daylight with the Trapper one. So I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential with this one.
Okay.
Sure.
So I will agree that I think that there's with characters in games like Don't Starve and like with Minecraft, Terraria, whatever else, any of these types of games in this particular genre, there are so many different possibilities of what a character could bring to a game like Smash. There's so many different tools. There's weird things that you can craft, creatures that you can involve. There's a lot that you can do. I was almost surprised by both how much and how little they use Steve when they added him to Smash. I didn't expect there to be actually crafting and block building, but then there wasn't anything like the different potion types in there, or him being able to use the bow, or anything magic was all missing, which surprised me. Don't Starve, again, there's a fuck ton of options. Even if you just look at the science related stuff, there's a lot of things that you can do. Granted, I don't know what some of these things are, but we have like apparently he has a drill that can be made. There's a mad science lab that you can do shit with, lightning rod, alchemy, divining rods. Even just looking at sciencey shit, there is plenty of things that you can look at. But there's so many other categories. Obviously, there's like different fighting weapons and whatnot. There's the creatures with the beefalo and spiders and pigs. Please no spiders. But there's a lot of fucking shit.
I would like to add it's going to be a really easy one to do skins with as well, with the different characters and stuff as well.
Yeah, that sounds good. They could do if they do different characters that skins, then you can't do something like a beard growing. That doesn't mean they can't do character skins, but you can't like do both because imagine like if they added in Willow, you're not gonna have Willow with a beard, or Wolfgang, or Wendy.
That's true.
They're not doing that.
I know.
But they could absolutely have some characters be different costumes because they've done it before. Looking at Bowser Jr., who all of his alts are the different Koopalings. Looking at the Dragon Quest hero, which has the heroes from 4, 8, 3,
11.
and 11. All their and then each of them have one alt, and it's just the 4 of them. They could absolutely do that with some of these different characters. They just have to pick characters that they can make fit the same model and animations as I forgot his name, Wilson, and still have whatever moves they give him make sense. Like if they do make him be other characters, then they have to make him be a little bit more generic in terms of what they pull from Don't Starve instead of just going strictly down a sciencey route. But
Right.
maybe that's what they would do. That's honestly probably the
Plus
best
it's
way to
more-
represent Don't Starve as a game
Mhm.
entirely. Because then it can be both Don't Starve and Don't Starve together, because multiple characters are all in there at one. So maybe there's the idea. As far as my rating though is concerned, while Wes does, or not Wes, that's whose page I currently have pulled up, and I was looking for names. As far as Wilson is himself concerned, while he has potential with what he can do and he can be made interesting, again, I'm looking at, is Don't Starve a game that Sakurai or Nintendo is going to look at and be like, let's get a character from this, and I don't feel like they will, largely because I don't think it's going to be very high up on the radar, and they might look at it and just go like, well, we already have Steve from Minecraft. Do we need this? So I'm just going to say, where are my notes from before? I was looking. I have so many tabs open. I'm going to say 5%, less than I gave Lux. League of Legends is a bigger name. Don't Starve is more niche. Jonno, what do you think?
Well, guys, don't think that I would like to starve because that would mean I was all out of lasagna. And that would be truly scarier than any shadow creatures to me. And as for what I think, Don't Starve is, again, it's niche. It comes from this survivalist fan, of course. It is one of the earlier indie titles that made it onto Nintendo systems, so it does have at least that precedent. Also being one that's fairly popular on Nintendo platforms. It's not to the level of, say, Shantae or Shovel Knight or Hollow Knight, but I think that it's fairly well regarded on Nintendo platforms. You're right, though. I mean, when you think of indie being one of those big things that Nintendo needs to, not necessarily needs to, but it's a logical decision, having put Shovel Knight in as a assist trophy, having a Shantae spirit, Shantae music, Shantae costume. For me, that they would move forward in the next Smash with an indie character seems like a high prospect, as we've discussed before. Being why we gave Shantae a fairly decent rating in a couple episodes past. So with that said, I still think that Shantae's probably higher rung when they're thinking along these lines. Then again, that's not necessarily a detractor here. It's Don't Starve as an IP. As Suji said, it's very Nintendo friendly. There's nothing wrong there. It's celebrated on the system. It's hard for me to see Wilson in the game though, for reasons that you'd already tacked on. For whatever reason, I don't think when they're looking at these smaller third-party titles, they would necessarily say, let's go for Don't Starve, because you want to go for one with an online community, then you may go for League of Legends or Overwatch or whatever else. You go for, it's the indie route, then you may go for Shantae or something else. So with that said, 8%.
You bring up something about the third party stuff that I meant to bring up and I just forgot to do so. The trouble with rating third party characters is one of them. There's so many series and franchises and IPs out there, and it's like thinking about like, would they go for this one? Would they go for this or this? Which one of these? If they're going to go for something in this category, what's more likely? It's a lot more variable than just looking at characters that were done in house by Nintendo. Suji, final thoughts on Wilson?
I mean, like I said before, I feel like there's a lot of potential here, and the fact that it already kind of has an end with Nintendo does kind of give a little bit of bonuses. However, like Jonno was saying, there's a lot of other routes. No matter how they want to approach it, there's a lot of other titles that, for popularity's sake alone, would be put on the same tier, if not higher. The only thing that I personally think is, I think that the fandom for it is being slightly underestimated here. I think that the fandom for it would even slightly catch wind of it. It's kind of like how I've discussed before, like Homestuck people are. You don't really find a lot of Homestuck fans anymore, but man, you mention it around somebody and they become a feral animal. That's basically how Don't Starve is. Plea Entertainment, which is the people that made it, have Oxygen not included now, so that's kind of their main game that they're building off of. Which is another survival type game, but it's you basically spawn in the middle of the planet and have to like dig around. Basically, it's fun too, but it's another game by them, so their attention's kind of split too. Don't Starve, it will always be their baby, and they do keep updates on it very often, which I feel like gives it some bonuses as well, because it means there's still constant attention on it. And like I said, I feel like it's kind of a cult classic like level with the fandom. So I am gonna go a little higher than you guys, but I do think, unfortunately, as much as I would love to see it, I do think that the chances would be pretty low. But I'm gonna say, I'm actually gonna put it like 18%.
18%.
Alright.
Okay. Well,
Like I said, I wouldn't underestimate that fandom.
I mean, the fandom doesn't control who gets in.
True, but if something is vastly popular and you have people like in an uproar about it, that's going to draw attention to be like, well, maybe we should, you know.
All right. Well, that is going to put Wilson in at 10.33% chances. He will just barely. It's actually, wait a minute. Yeah, he just barely is. No, yeah, he's in the bottom 5 now.
Rip.
He rounds out the bottom 5. He's number 5th from the bottom.
Aww.
Yeah, poor
now
guy.
saving Resetti from that fate. Oh.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm wrong. He's number 4 from the bottom. Is he? I don't know. He's somewhere. I think, yeah, he's number 4 from the bottom. Resetti is no longer in the bottom 5.
Oh, look at her go.
There you go. Okay.
But this next
Trap
character,
is
I think,
bottom.
just might perform a bit better across the board. From a very
God.
popular game, from a very popular series, from a game that has exploded in popularity, it's Tom Nook.
And one we're going to be talking about at length. Yep.
Tom Nook of Animal Crossing fame. So, put the Garfield away. Tom Nook.
Is that another cat?
Enough. Tom Nook, once upon a time, I thought was going to be the second Animal Crossing character that would have been added to Smash. And then we got surprised with Isabelle, and I was like, what? Okay. Threw me off. But apparently she was very popular. People responded to her extremely well in A New Leaf. But Tom Nook is, to me, the face of the Animal Crossing franchise.
Yes.
And if Animal Crossing is going to get a third character, I feel like it is 100% Tom Nook. Granted, as I just said, I would have said that before we had a second character, and that he would have been the second choice. But I was wrong there. But I feel like it has to be Tom Nook if you're doing a third character. He's one of the biggest characters in the franchise. There's some others that are up there as well, but he's the one that gives you your house and then makes you pay a loan for it, and then upgrades your house without asking, and then makes you pay a loan for it. It's like, motherfucker. He's the one that sells you shit. He's the one that runs the Nook Island Express, whatever the fuck it is in New Horizons. It's been a while since I played the game, so I don't remember exactly what it's called. He gives you the Nookopedia and all that shit. But what I think is the biggest point in Tom Nook's favor right now, and this is something that just recently came out in Nintendo news,
Yep.
Animal Crossing New Horizon is now the #1 selling game in Japan. It sold over 10 million copies in Japan alone. The previous game that held that record was the original Super Mario Brothers at 6-something million units.
Damn.
Not only is that a record, not only is that a new record, but it's a record that has stood for a long time, and it was shattered.
Mm-hmm.
Shattered. I will be extremely surprised if the next Smash game does not get another Animal Crossing character.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it has to be Tom Nook. Jonno.
Agreed. We're going to be talking about Animal Crossing in the showdown later today, but there's a reason why Tom Nook wasn't included, because it would be such an easy.
It's
yes,
too obvious. Plus, we had him in a previous Smash Fest episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep. True, that was a long time ago at this point.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Towards the very beginning. So, yeah, I mean, you said it. This is an easy vote for me. His chances are extremely high. Don't want to say too much before we get to our percentages, but things are looking pretty good for him right now.
All right, Suji, what do you think about Tom?
Now, the one thing I will say here is, I feel like there is a second contender, depending on how they want to look at it, with
Anka?
Animal Crossing.
Is it-
God no.
Is it Pelly and Phyllis?
No, God no. That's not. That's classic games. No, Flick actually. Flick is a huge fan
Oh,
favorite.
the bug guy.
Yes, he is a huge fan favorite, like massive fan favorite, and a personal favorite as well. I absolutely adore him, but
Of course you
he
are. I've
is
seen his
only
design.
he's a awkward goth chameleon who likes bugs. I love him. But no, he's a massive fan favorite, and he is also only in the newest game.
Yep.
So going off of how we were saying, they always try and pick from the newest game. They already have some Animal Crossing stuff, and the fact of like, yes, Tom Nook would be like the poster child type thing, and I still think his possibilities are really high. But if they want to go for that, we should pull from the newest game specifically. They might end up going with Flick, because I do feel like Flick has some better options and stuff like that for abilities and things that he could do as well. But I still think, regardless, I still think Tom Nook has a extremely high chance for obvious reasons.
Okay. So what I would say about Flick, I mean, he's in the newest game. So is Tom Nook. So there's I don't know if that's much of a factor in his favor. But also, I think like the big difference between Flick and some of the other choices are that they do more in the game. Like Isabel is like your mayor's assistant in A New Leaf. She is your go-to for everything. Tom Nook is always the seller of everything. Flick is only there on random days of the week, or if there's a bug tournament going on. I feel like he might be a little bit more restricted in that regards. As something like an assist trophy, though, I feel like he could have a chance with that. But as a playable character, I think there's a few characters that are above the, in my opinion, a few characters that are more likely than him. I think he's more likely than Wendell.
True.
Why?
Reese and Cyrus, more likely than them.
Yeah.
More likely
I
than the Able sisters, probably.
I could see Reese and Cyrus having an Ice Climbers type
I
vibe
might put
too.
him on the same tier as the Able sisters.
Yeah.
But as far as like my final thoughts on Tom Nook, as I've been very clear about, I feel like he is the pick. He is the face of the game, of the series, of the franchise. If you know anything about Animal Crossing, you know that Tom Nook is a bastard. If you know only one thing, you know that.
And debt to a raccoon for all your life.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like, he's got that huge ass recognizability to him. And if they can give a moveset for the Animal Crossing Villager, they can make a moveset for Isabel. They can make one for Tom Nook. I'm giving this guy an 85%.
Yeah. Villager surprised me, actually, when they announced it. It was like, yeah, wait, how?
He was super.
How are they gonna do it?
He was heavily requested for Brawl. People wanted him in Brawl, but Sakurai said, "How?" And people were just like, "Easy. It's very easy to make a moveset for Villager: Axe, Slingshot, Gyroid,
Balloon." Yeah. Yep.
Tom Nook, I think too. I mean, there's a large unprecedented area with Animal Crossing that they haven't touched yet with the moveset. Just throw him furniture leave. Just have him toss a couch on your end.
Yes.
and use.
Let me roll out the carpet for me to beat someone's ass on.
Could
he can give you a loan for your final smash. Anyway.
Drop a bag of money.
Yep.
Whole bag of bills. Yep.
Now pay it back. Whoa, instant KO. So yeah, I'm dung beetle models from Flick aside that I'd like to purchase one day. Cool guy. So I think that Tom Nook at this impasse, I'm having trouble thinking of a single character who seems likelier to be a newcomer in Smash 6 at this point, given Animal Crossing's rise in popularity to such an extreme extent, and knowing that, he's fairly popular and fairly loved in the community, while also being a character that Nintendo has pushed for over 20 years. Or close to it. I'm not sure when Animal Crossing was released at this point.
In
Must have been over
64.
20 years. Yeah. So, okay. This is an episode of our lowest lows with the Trapper, and it's going to be an episode of our highest highs because I'm giving Tom Nook a 99.
God damn! All right. I mean, I knew I was going high, but I wasn't planning on going that high because there's always a chance for Sakurai nonsense to have happen. But if it wasn't for New Horizons, and especially New Horizons being as popular as it was, I would not give Tom Nook this high of a chance. I'd probably give him something in the 60s, but not this high. But New Horizons fucking exploded. Yeah. And to be fair, it may have been very well timed with COVID. Because everybody was home.
Yes.
And everybody wanted to escape from bullshit real world shit. And Animal Crossing was a very good fit for that.
At least out here, the New Horizons released, and a week or two later was shut down.
Yeah. So, that's exactly how
literally.
It
because it released March 1st, I believe, and then shut down was like literally a week or two later.
Yeah.
And all the Switches were sold out everywhere. I pre-ordered it because I've played Animal Crossing obsessively since the first one. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, why do people know about this game? Wait, what's happening? It's really weird to be behind a fandom from the start, and then when it becomes popular, you're like, wait, you're not supposed to know that.
It's on a similar note, Ring Fit Adventure blew up. It had similar good timing, COVID. Hey, everybody is home now. People can't go to the gym. Oh, there's this game that helps you exercise as you play it. Okay.
All of a sudden, everybody's buying a Wii again.
Yeah, and nobody could find Ring Fit Adventure anywhere on the stores for a long while. It just sold like crazy.
It was price gouge to hell, man.
It was.
$5 on eBay. Like, holy cow. It puts you through a workout for real. Like,
I was going to do a Let's Play series of it, and then I did the first level. I was like, no. I'll make a one-off video, which you can watch now. I did an hour. I stitched together multiple different sessions to create about an hour and 45 minutes worth of me getting my ass kicked by Ring Fit Adventure. So enjoy that.
I did. Yeah. Yes.
There were a couple times where I was gonna fall over.
It did its job.
It did. Anyway, Suji, what are your final thoughts and rating for Tom Nook?
I think this is going to be a very, 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 very likely one too. Just because, again, pretty much poster child level. Now, the only part of it that has me a little like in between is, and I'm sure they've surprised me before with movesets, but I'm having trouble thinking of it being too awfully different from the Animal Crossing characters that they already have. I'm sure that there's still possibilities, absolutely. They've surprised me before, but I'm having trouble thinking of anything immediately that I think would be worth him being his own character, not a skin, if that makes sense.
Well, counterpoint, Fox, Falco, and Wolf.
Very good point. I mean, we were just talking about the Fire Emblem stuff earlier.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying. That's what I was gonna say. It's not docking it by a lot. I'm just saying,
but then the difference between the Fire Emblem characters and the Star Fox characters is that Chrom and Lucina are officially considered echoes or clone fighters. Falcon and Wolf are considered more semi-clones. It's like they have their specials are very similar, but their actual neutrals and aerials, they're all very different.
Right.
Like I've thought about that as well with Tom Nook. But I feel like they're gonna have something to do with balloons. I think all Animal Crossing characters are gonna have that. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some different way to use a gyro, and I think he'll get Pocket. I think any Animal Crossing character we get, they're all gonna get Pocket.
I actually disagree with the balloon thing because there's not very often that he gets associated with that. I think they're going to do a lot of things with bags of bells.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about earlier, like throwing furniture, and that kind of gave me the idea. So in Animal Crossing, and whenever you're handed any type of furniture, it's a leaf.
Yeah.
And you set it down, it literally poofs in
Yep.
classic Japanese fashion into whatever the furniture is. And so they I kind of thought maybe for like a certain like heavier attack or something, he could throw a leaf, and then once it reaches a target, it turns into something heavier, essentially, like it turns into a different piece of furniture or something
Similar
like that.
to Villager's side smash, where he drops a bowling ball on their heads.
Yeah, pretty much, just a little more flair to it, pretty much,
Yeah.
type thing. But yeah, like there's definitely like possibilities there, but I think they're gonna focus more on the furniture and definitely the bells versus doing anything like, if anything, he's gonna be closer, I think, to Isabel than Villager, because he's never associated with the balloons, he's never associated with the weapons or the tools or anything like that. That's his main association is I mean, they could even do something with like the DIY cards or stuff like that, like that's his association, especially in the newest game.
Mm-hmm.
So I see them doing more stuff with that. But regardless, I'm going to stick him actually at go 92.
92%.
Correct.
All right. Well, that is going to average us out to our number one most highly rated character thus far on the podcast, beating out the previous champion, Alf, from Pikmin 3, who had a 80% chance. Tom Nook has 92.
What?
It came out to 92%. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Apparently, that is directly in the middle between 99 and 85. So there you go. All right. So that is 20 characters that we've done this for so far, and holy shit, that took up the majority of the podcast. So hopefully this next section we can kind of go a little bit faster through, because I kind of feel like these characters that we'll be discussing next won't be as deep a dive as we typically have in a Smash Dash, because it's kind of more difficult to do that. So we are going into our Smasher Dash now, and we did one of these last year where instead of doing a typical 1v1 and having two matches of this, we did a full-on Battle Royale of 4 characters. And that is what we're doing today with our Animal Crossing characters. Because yes, we are doing 4 Animal Crossing characters for today's Smasher Dash. That's part of why we decided to we tried to put Tom Nook into our regular chances, to have a little bit of Animal Crossing there. And he was actually pre-featured in our very first Smash Dash episode, where he was put up against the Octoling from Splatoon, where he lost. But
Isn't that funny how the tables turn?
I mean, Smasher Dashes are less about what we think is likely and more about what we actually want.
Also true.
And we both
Real
like
true,
Splatoon.
yep.
All right, so the 4 characters that we decided to go ahead and discuss for this Animal Crossing Battle Royale, we got here 4 popular contenders, those being KK Slider, Blathers, Crazy Red, and Mr. Resetti. We'll be talking about all 4 of these characters, probably not super in depth, because honestly, there's not a lot to talk about. It's not like any of them have exclusive abilities that, like magic and science and weird shit. One of them runs a museum, one of them sells fake artwork, one is a musician, and one gets angry when you reset your game. That's the core of each of these characters. So let's discuss them a little bit here, and then pick 2 each that we would put into Smash if we had the choice. So I'm going to throw it to Suji first. Suji, what do you think about these characters and any fighting game potential they might have?
Actually gonna ask if I could do my bit first, because I got opinions here.
Oh, I figured you would.
So first and foremost, and I'm gonna go ahead and literally pick one right off the bat. Like I'm not even
hold on. We don't want to reveal like what our picks are until we're at the end of it, because build up to the moment.
Fair. All right. Well,
because each of these characters has potential.
I will say I'm kind of surprised that Celeste is not here. Celeste is very popular at the current as well, and she deals with the stars and stuff like that. So there could be a lot of like asteroids and meteors and like star type abilities and stuff. So I'm actually kind of surprised to not see that. But
We only had 4 slots.
Right. No. Yeah. Well, and Celeste is also, I think, sister to Blathers.
Yep. The younger sister.
So Blathers, I feel like, would have a lot of things to do with the general museum items. I feel like there could be. He's terrified of bugs, despite being an owl. Yes, don't question it.
And despite putting bugs in his museum.
Correct. Yes, and like every time you give him something, he'll ask if you want more information on it, and he'll give you like a random blip fact about whatever you gave him.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a bug, he'll literally under his breath be like, "Please say no," and then whenever you say it, he's like, "Oh, okay, sure," and he's like, "Oh God," like he hates every second of it. So I feel like they could do something kind of fun with that too. I'm not sure what, but I feel like there's potential there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of things having to do with the fossils even and things like that. I think it could be interesting as well. What would be really funny is, so he's an owl, so whenever you go to see him during the day, he's asleep. He's standing in the museum still, but he's asleep.
Yep.
So it'd be kind of cool if he had something that, like, he could sleep for, like, or try to sleep for X amount of time, and depending on how much sleep he gets, he restores, like, HP or something. Would be kind of interesting. But I feel like he has a decent chunk of potential to him. Red kind of throws me off a little bit, because he's a totally genuine art dealer in heavy quotations. So I feel like a lot of it would have to do with
heavy quotations around genuine art or dealer.
Yes. All of it, actually. Like actually thoroughly. There's not much that's genuine. I don't know if you could really consider it art, and he's not really a very good dealer either, so all of it. But his would be a little bit more confusing to me, because I feel like a lot of it would be like throwing like the art pieces type thing. Like I couldn't really piece a whole lot together with it, because a lot of his is kind of bard level, to where it's a lot of talking and like the little underhanded things like, oh yeah, you can do this raffle thing, I promise you'll get something cool, and it's just like a balloon or something that you paid like 10 times the price for, and stuff like that. And so his, I think, would be a little bit more harder to imagine. KK is very much another face too. I absolutely love KK. He was my absolute favorite in the first game. But he's very chill and very laid back. So I feel like that would be interesting, because he wouldn't be like a gung ho fighter. It would just kind of be like, it would be funny if he was like constantly playing his guitar. Like no matter what he was doing, he was like playing his guitar the whole time. Would be really interesting. Obviously, like a guitar smash, I feel like is too obvious, honestly. And I also don't think he would do that to his guitar. So his would be a little bit harder, but I think I could see the potential there in it being a little different. Resetti could literally just be picked up and placed in the game at this point. I feel like he literally comes with a weapon. He just wants to fight all the time. There's a small thing in the recent game, because there's autosaves and stuff now, so he's not as important. But he does show up at the Roost once you get it in the newest game, and he'll kind of just have a cup of coffee. And as the games go on, he literally talks about his anger issues, and he's like, "It's fine. I'm gonna chill out and relax." And then he has a hair trigger and like goes off. So I feel like that would be really fun to integrate as well. And he literally comes with a weapon. So like I feel like his has like the most potential maybe. But yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents, I guess, on each of them. I think they all have a little bit of potential.
I absolutely agree that they all have some potential. It varies between the 4 of them, and especially when you're trying to think about what they all could do. But I think you can make something for all of them. Going kind of like the same order you did on these. Blathers, first of all, like having an owl as a fire would just be a really cool idea. We wanted Decidui in the Rebuking game, but we got Incineroar instead, which was a big disappointment. But
still is.
That's another day, I guess. But I think Blathers could be pretty fun. Like just delve heavily into the museum aspect. He can. I don't know if he'd necessarily be throwing fossils around or other exhibits, but I definitely like I have a Final Smash idea for him. Somebody brings him a bug, and it gets released. and he panics. And and now it's like I'm imagining it's kind of like it'd be like a swarm of bees or something. That's kind of what I'm imagining here. And they'll just get released, and he just flips the fuck out, and it's a cinematic cutscene. And he just runs away, but then the bees attack whoever was trapped in the cutscene. And they just get stung all the hell, and Blathers is just like terrified, running away from the whole thing. And that's just it. That's his final smash. He's not really. I can't really see him doing something that would be fighting. The only other thing I can really envision that would be for him is dropping a fossil on somebody, like a completed gigantic T-Rex fossil, and just falls from the sky and swashes them. That's the only thing I have in mind for his final smash. But I think like lean into him being scared of bugs, lean into the different types of exhibits that he can have. I remember that there's fossils, there's bugs, there's fish, there's art. I don't remember if they've added anything else in New Horizons that you can put in the museum. But there's plenty that they can kind of pull from there. Red, you mentioned with Red that you weren't really sure what they could do with him besides just throw art.
Mhm.
Well, here's a thought that I have. Red is he's a con man. He's a fraud. He has a fake artwork that he mixes in with real artwork and tries to sell it to you. So who's to say that Red wouldn't see some of the other things that other characters in Smash can do, and wouldn't come up with his own versions of some of his attacks, his
Cool.
his fraud attacks, you could call them. So
They're
maybe
like
he's
weaker, have a backlash or something. Like
there's something like it's similar, but you can tell it's like that ain't right. Like he could have like for whatever reason he has Fox's blaster, but it doesn't quite work the exact same, or it looks just slightly wrong. Maybe it looks like Fox's blaster, but it acts more. But the blast looks more like Wolf's blaster blast, and maybe it carries with it some kind of a weird poison effect or something. Just to really keen the fact that like that ain't quite right. It's similar, but something's not right here, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Maybe he could pull out a bow that one of the other characters uses, like Pit or Dark Pit, but it's colored differently, and the arrow flies a little bit differently. There are characters that in fighting games that are known to be like mimic kind of characters, like Mokujin from Tekken, or Charade, Edgemaster from Soul Calibur, where every time you load into the match with them, they take a different character's moveset randomly selected, and they just fight like that character. They have all of their moves. They could do something similar with Red, where every time you launch a game with him, he has different moves based off of other characters, but they're just slightly wrong. So there's some odd potential that you can do with Red.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's good.
He's a trickster.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it.
Crazy.
KK Slider. Yeah, obviously he's gonna be using music to fight. I mean, come on, strum on his guitar, and you have some musical notes pop out to hit people. It's blasting attacks that way. We don't have a character that uses music or any kind of rhythm yet, and so that just feels very strange, considering that they have Rhythm Heaven as one of their big sellers during the Wii and Wii U years. The fuck's that all about? He could easily fit that kind of mode, letting him use music and rhythm into his attacks, and yes, hitting somebody with his guitar, because you've got to have that. Whether it's an overhead chop or just like a big old baseball bat like swing. Come on. Mr. Resetti is my spirit Animal Crossing character.
Honestly, I see that.
I mean,
The resemblance is uncanny.
come on now. He's the angry one. Like, even though he can be chill, I can be chill, but then there's those certain things that you say them or you bring them up, and it's like, all right, fuck it, now I gotta rant. You guys you've started something, and now we're gonna fucking finish it, and you're all gonna shut up while I go over it, and I'm not gonna let you convince me otherwise. We got that going for us. But Resetti, I was thinking about this earlier, like something that could be unique about Resetti. So in original Animal Crossing, he is kind of like Diglett. We just see him pop out of the ground. We don't see his feet or anything like that. And then in one of the later games, I'm not sure if it was City Folk or New Leaf or whatever it was, all of a sudden we see him walking around now, and he has feet, and it was weird and awkward, and I still don't know how I feel about it.
It was New Leaf, but yeah.
It was unsettling at first. And, you think, like, okay, well, now he could walk around, and he can run and fight and smash. But then I thought about this more, it's like, no, fuck that. He's not going to run around and smash. He's still going to be in the ground. So my vision for Mr. Resetti in Smash is when you're on a platform, you still see him half buried in the ground. His feet aren't going to stick below the platform, obviously, because that'd be really weird and awkward looking. He'd just be there. And it's like when he runs, you're seeing him like dig around with his hole. He's just going forwards with that. But when he jumps, he just pops out of the hole, and now you can see his feet, and he can still attack and do aerials and everything like that. In fact, his up special could just him be essentially like doing a super launch, being shot up out of the hole. Kind of in similar premise how characters like Bowser Jr. will just like a gigantic launching jump based attack up into the air. What other moves he would have, strictly speaking, I don't know. I feel like one of them has to be him shouting, just like a big old text bubble appears that damages people, kind of like what people pitch for Phoenix Wright shouting objection. But I feel like that's the way to go with Resetti. Like let him be in the ground most of the time, and he can do his attacks that way. But then he can just jump just normally, and now he's jumped out of his hole. Once he lands back on the platform, he's in a hole again.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool. I like that a lot.
Jonno.
Hey guys, I heard you mentioned Animal Crossing. The only animal I've crossed lately is Odie. He sure can be a handful, especially when I'm just trying to eat my lasagna. Well, all that to say, wow, Zantok, you really put in a hard workout on Select Start Gaming with Ring Fit Adventure. We had a good hoot looking at that. looking at that while you guys were talking, and I think I'll find Jonno for you right now. Right, have a good.
Please
have a
do.
good
Jonno
day.
speaks faster than Garfield. The Garfield voice is like 3 times as slow.
Guys.
No.
Okay. Okay. Going around the table. Going around the table here. I like the crazy red thing a lot. That changes. I mean, because the character otherwise, I mean, he felt kind of like the fourth wheel here. But then we're talking it through. It's like, holy cow, he can be, yeah, the charade of Smash very convincingly selling his fake art. Because otherwise, that my only alternative ideas would have been something along the lines of having the art come to life, having a painting that wakes up and licks you or something. So that's a good precipice here. Blathers seems to be kind of the character that is underdeveloped the most between our discussions so far. So kind of focusing on him a little bit. This could be a character that can adopt the living artwork motif. Have him drop a sculpture and that can actually smack you around or something, or break apart and fall on you, similar to Villager's Tree. Coming in on a Final Smash alternative, come in on a sentient T-Rex fossil that just wrecks shit on the stage and walks around. Bring in a swordfish somehow, like he a forward tilt where he stabs you with it. Yeah. So on and so forth. So there is potential there. That it's such a bizarre character choice, being a museum curator, that it's difficult. You have to incorporate bugs, is all I know at this output, and not just in a taunt or a victory pose. It has to be in the moveset somewhere. So he's the character. I mean, as we think about it, giving him his nod. There are so many elements of collecting in Animal Crossing that he remains the focal point of bringing it to him to develop the museum. So anything in the museum is fair game. The museum also being a cool backdrop in Animal Crossing. I'd like to see that as a stage, like maybe the next stage, or the Roost. Besides that, hopping over to KK Slider. An idea that I had during Suji and your discussions, Lister, were there's a lot of KK Slider songs that were written that are intended for dance, like KK salsa, KK waltz, KK tango. So another thing we can do, being that KK Slider is kind of like this pep cat character. He's a cool, jive kind of dude. you bring him in and you give him little subtle dance moves where you can toss the characters around, performing a salsa twist or performing
Moves
a
based off of his
waltz with them.
songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then and go further. I mean, he's a guitarist, surely, but I mean his compositions. They incorporate hand drums. They incorporate flutes and his beautiful singing voice, of course. Um, so why not incorporate some of the other instruments that you hear in his songs as well, which can open it up quite a bit. So instead of, you have to have the guitar strums, like that could be a very convincing standard special. It could be in the KK concert Final Smash, but have him beat on a bongo, have him play a pan flute, because you have a character like Marshall, who we've done previously from Rhythm Heaven for a Smashtopia episode, who is a rhythm-based character. But what you're not getting at with a character from Rhythm Heaven is leaning into the musical aspect, of which there's very few other characters that you can really get into. I mean, who would it be? Someone from Guitar Hero at this point? I mean, holy cow! Yeah, I mean, it could be, it could be Eddie Riggs. But as far as in-house characters go for Nintendo, have him do DJ KK with the turntable somewhere in there. That would be pretty entertaining. So there's room for that. Resetti. I mean, I came in here not having the greatest expectations, because you look at him, okay, he has a pickaxe and he's angry, but then you lean into him being angry, have him pop out of the hole out of pure rage, and I love the idea of him being mostly inside of his encampment instead of running around. Not only because his legs are bizarre and make me feel unsettled and sad, but also because it's something that we've seen in Smashdown before, where we take a character's expectations, like Bowser Jr., and we turn them on their head. You think that he's going to come in as a paintbrush wielding warrior child, and then he's suddenly in the Koopa clown car with all the other Koopalings. And although that dashed our expectations for the character, it's also something where we're looking back, we're like, wow, I can't believe they did that. That's actually pretty cool. Like, really cool. Whether Bowser Jr. is a good character in Ultimate is a whole thing altogether.
Sadly.
Yeah, I know. The angry speech bubble is great. I mean, that could be an easy Final Smash too. Just have him go off on the characters. Maybe you can have something where, like Snake's Codex, for instance, where he is going off on the specific characters that you're fighting against on the screen. Speech bubbles just flying everywhere, and anyone hit by them are of course going to be damaged and bumped around. That's really fun. That's a novel idea. So goes my initial thoughts.
All right. Well, before we give our choices for these, is because I kind of feel like Animal Crossing characters are fairly simplest, because I don't feel like there's a super deep dive we need to do with these 4 characters. But before we go into our selections, is there anything that anybody wants to say in particular about these characters that hasn't been said yet?
One is a dog. One is a fox. One is an owl. And one is a mole.
I will say I had a small side idea to Blathers, how you were saying that one. I think Zantok, you were saying the idea of that Final Smash being him freaking out about a bug. That could also be something where they bring Flick in as a background character. He shows up and drops a bug, or just has one sitting on him, or opens the case to try to show him or something, and that's what triggers his freak out, because that also puts another face, a popular face in. So yeah, I just kind of had that little blip of an idea. But yeah,
that could make sense. Have Flick be like he's trying to either donate the bugs to the museum, or trying to show the bugs, being like, hey, see, he's not that bad. It's like how people's trying to be like, hey, spiders aren't that bad. Here, come touch the spider. It's like, no. No. Go fuck yourself, sir. I'm not touching your spider.
Which does also remind me, on similar note, I know this is past one that we had,
Tarantula
but
Island.
there's a lot of them you could. Oh god, Tarantula Island's awful. There's a lot of them that you could kind of do stuff like that with too. Tom Nook with Timmy and Tommy, like for a Final Smash type thing. Like there's a lot of.
I mean,
potentials to
they
add
appear
extra
in
places.
Villager's Final Smash. They build his house.
True. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Like there's a lot of potential to have like background characters or something. Like honestly, like whatever KK's Final Smash would be, I could see them putting in like a handful of like the most popular villagers, just like cheering in the background or something
watching
while
a
he's
concert.
doing whatever. Exactly. Yeah, because at least in the newest game, that's how you know when KK is there, because there's all the stools out and everybody sits on the stools. Like there's enough for all the villagers, and everybody sits there like periodically, and he just plays all day. And so having something like that where it's like just a handful of the most popular villagers, they'd have Shino back there and Marshall and Goldie and all of that, they would have sitting back there like cheering or something like that. There's a lot of potential with Animal Crossing in general to bring up like extra faces to appease the masses.
One other thought that I had too that may just change everything. An up special for Blathers could be getting that spinning soft-shelled sea turtle and grabbing onto it and spinning into the air.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It would be fun.
That would be actually.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
I saw it on Reddit just now when I looked at Blathers moveset concept. They can't credit the user because they deleted their account, so.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just say it's my idea and move on.
Sure. All right, so at this point, does everybody feel like they can say 2 characters out of these 4 that they add to Smash?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we're going to go around. We're going to say our 2 characters, and we'll see how it shakes out. Jonno, you first.
Mr. Resetti and KK Slider.
Suji.
I will say going into this, I had no hope in Red, but that concept is really fucking good. That being said, however, for popularity's sake and everything too, I'm actually going to go Blathers and KK.
Okay. So here's the interesting thing at this point. The reason why I had you go second is because Jonno said what I was going to say. And that was KK Slider and Mr. Resetti. So you said KK and Blathers.
Mm-hmm.
So KK is in. He's in.
Yes. Yep.
But now we can kind of have a mini debate, if we desire, on Resetti versus Blathers.
Resetti was a very close for me with Blathers, but Blathers is one of those, like, not quite poster child, but he is, like, a fan favorite, period.
Mm-hmm.
Resetti, we talked about before of them wanting to bring stuff in from the newer games. Resetti can appear in the Roost, but unless you've played the classic Animal Crossing, like the first and second one, really, are about the only ones he majorly had in, then you don't really know who he is without researching it. So I think the concept would be really cool, but that's why I said popularity's sake. Blathers has been popular from the very beginning, and there's also a lot of potential with his movesets and stuff too. While I really would love to see Resetti, and I think there's a lot of potential there, I think
keep in mind, this is not likelihood.
Right,
this is what you want.
Right. I like I said, I still think there's like more to Blathers. Like I like the ideas that we had with Resetti and everything too, but the idea of him like freaking out with the bugs and like having the different, like, there's so many. I mean, you have art, fossils, fish, and bugs to work with. Plus, if you really wanted to, you could probably do something with the Roost, since the Roost is in the museum in the newest game. Like, I feel like there's more potential for different things that they could do to make it a more unique moveset for him in particular than they would for Resetti. Not saying Resetti wouldn't be amazing, because I'd be happy either way, but I feel like there's more potential to pick stuff up.
There's more actual material to pull from, as opposed to angry guy gets angry.
Right, yeah.
Fair enough.
Digpole is angry, has pickaxe. all amazing, but also and would make a skill set, but doesn't give you options for skill sets. It's basically this is pretty much what it is. Blathers is like it could be this, or we could do this, or we could do this. Like there's more to it,
Fair
in my
enough.
opinion.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I think both of them would be great additions. It's a shame that we can only have one of them, but that's the nature of the game. Uh, but a lot of this would be fun to have for all those museum stuff. Resetti, just the fact that he's a literal little rage machine in a teeny little body, it's just extremely amusing to me. He's got that pickaxe. He's got the whole underground thing going on. I feel like for me, he's like it comes down to like who I think would be funnier. Like not really like funnier than like jokes, but like who would make me smile more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Resetti.
Sure. Both really strong arguments. Really, Suji coming in hot with. I mean, it's frankly true that Blathers has more to pull from just from the museum alone. Resetti has a very focused identity. You're going to get him in that unvarnished rage form. It would be funny if he came in with mechanics like tough guy or something, where you have to get him over a certain percentage, and then the rage mechanic as well, where you get him over 100% and he deals out more damage. Seems natural for him.
Pissed off.
Exactly. Just say too though, but I think that there's something to be said though for a character who is more focused, who has a central point to go from, because although you can't pull a variety of things into the moveset, having a concentrated form isn't so bad either. Some of the most beloved characters in Smash have very centralized movesets, like Marth, for instance. So it's difficult to say. And then again to that point too, I tend to veer towards characters who do have variety in their moveset pool, who are a little more offbeat. And in that sense, Blathers would be more of the traditional pick for me, to my tastes, thinking about it. And there is a whole lot you could do with him. I think that the issue with the conversation here, why I was leading Resetti, at least initially, is because Resetti is more of a focused concept within the construct of this discussion. It's a lot easier to see what he would do versus workshopping Blathers. Like Blathers is practically a Smashtopia episode waiting to happen. There's so much potential and so little mental space right now to be able to think of it within a 2.5 hour construct. So difficult to say. So it's a toughie. I mean, this is whatever decision I come to. It's really going to be 51-49, because they're both evenly matched for separate reasons as far as my bias towards these characters now goes. I mean, yeah, again, you take into consideration likelihood and recognizability. Of course, would be Blathers. Smasher Dash being a little bit of a different beast, so disregarding that, shoot, it's very difficult to say, but looking at the list here of like previous characters that have come about this Smasher Dash season for Super Cast Brothers, your Gino and your Amaterasu and Beautiful Joe and Dante, blah 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 blah. Garfield, what do you think? No, it's kidding. God, this is so difficult.
Well, let me put it this way. I think you're going to have to make a decision, because I think Suji and I are both sticking to our guns here.
Yeah, I think you are. It's very difficult. It's very difficult, but I want to see where further thought takes this character, so I'm switching my vote to Blathers.
I thought you would. I had a feeling from the very beginning. I mean, Suji made some really great points about Blathers, and yeah, I can't deny them. He's my spirit Animal Crossing character, so what can I say about that?
To be fair, going in, just when you sent me the image alone, I was like explaining it. I was like, "Well, fucking Resetti, duh." But like at the same time, like there's like I said, there's just more possibilities with other characters and stuff like that. Like KK was really easy for me just because there's not anything like any of that. There's not a character that would like have that chillaxed like nature the whole time, fight with music, have that kind of mage type ability, have like the crowd in the background that would give a lot of face claim pleasing to players and fans and stuff like that. And so I feel like KK was super easy. Red was very close for me after your point of like the kind of stealing stuff, because that's brilliant, honestly. Like I was very close to changing to him because he was like my least on the list originally. And yeah, as we talked a little more, stuff kind of got flipped around. I'm like, I feel like Blathers would like I said, more potential anyways, but I feel like he would also bode a little bit better, like if he did get added just for popularity's sake as well. So
all right.
Sure.
Well, that is the end of another Smash or Dash episode. We may have to workshop how we do our Rate Their Chances stuff due to the time, but we'll see how things go for the next few, because it's still a new idea. But next,
wrap up the season with it, I think. Yeah.
But next time on Super Cast Brothers, obviously how the cycle goes with all Smash or Dash, a non-topic episode, and this one's gonna be a little bit odd. This one was talked about as a possibility at some point last season when we had Curbwalker on as a guest, good friend Zach, and he was just like, he mentioned the idea. I was like, what if they were Harry Potter or Hogwarts House for the Smash Bros. Characters? And so we decided, you know what? It's a good question.
What if they were? Yep.
So we'll be discussing that next time with Curbwalker coming back on as a guest. So look forward to that. In the meantime, hey, Suji, do you have anything you want to say to the viewers before you leave forever?
Forever? Is that a threat?
Bitch, it might be.
You live very close to me. I think that might be a threat. I'm scared. I
don't know what I'm talking about, but all right.
we gonna fight. Let's go. I mean, thanks for having me back. It was really fun last time and this time. I have a blast talking about this type of stuff. So it's always nice to be back. Also, if anybody wants to find me, I'm SujixFuji or SujixFuji on literally everything. I don't really stream much anymore, but I post my cosplay
except for League,
stuff,
where you're Spoopy Fish.
That's true. I am Spoopy Fish with 3 O's on League. Everything else is SujixFuji or SujixFuji. Literally anywhere. I'm on every media platform at this point. So, but yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for being on. It was
Thanks
a
for
great
having
time,
me.
Everybody. Thank you so much.
We'll
see you next time.
And then maybe next time we'll force you to make a character with us. See
Oh,
how
gosh.
that goes.
Heck yeah.
All right. But with that, we're closing out on another episode. See you all next time.